Jeremy Bash was the chief of staff at both the Defense Department and the CIA. Now he's a national security analyst for NBC News. Jeremy, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning, Willie.
Let's assume for a moment, and we'll revisit this premise in just a second, that Donald Trump is onto something, that President Obama, as he claims, bugged Trump Tower in the lead up to the election. Would President Obama have the power to warrant surveillance of a private citizen?
Absolutely not. After Watergate, after Nixon, Congress passed a law that said that whenever the executive branch wants to engage in wiretapping or surveillance of people inside the United States, they have to go to a federal judge and get a specific warrant. And Willie, I have looked at these warrant applications from my time inside the intelligence community. They are voluminous filings. They are done by career lawyers, and they are presented to a federal judge, and those federal judges are hard graders, and they turn the Justice Department around all the time and say, go back and do more homework, bring me more evidence.
So we're throwing around the term FISA court, FISA warrant. Let's explain a little bit, Jeremy, of what that means. The Federal Intelligence Surveillance Act, 1978, as you suggested in a response to Nixonian domestic spying. How does it work exactly? What is a FISA court and how does it work?
Sure. The FISA court is made up of judges from the federal courts who are appointed to serve on this special panel, and they work with the Justice Department. The Justice Department and the FBI go to them with a filing that says, we suspect somebody in the U.S. is a foreign power, and that's a term you're going to hear a lot, Willie, a foreign power, say working for the Russians, for an example. This is what's done against spies like Aldrich Ames, Robert Hansen. When we suspect someone's an American who's working for a foreign power, the FBI and the Justice Department go to these judges and they get a warrant to actually listen to their phone calls and listen to and read their emails.
Okay, so let's walk through the potential of what these tweets mean. Okay, the first one would be that the FBI legally wiretapped Donald Trump. What would that tell you, Jeremy?
Well, that would tell me that a federal judge found probable cause, meaning enough evidence to believe that either there was criminal activity or that there was foreign espionage activity in Trump Tower. And specifically, Willie, I think what it means is that a federal judge found that people in Trump's organization were colluding with the Russians.
So if the NSA, is it possible the NSA was listening to a foreign entity, say a Russian, and Donald Trump's conversations or those of his associates were swept up in that collection of data?
Yes, and that is another possibility, Willie, which is that if the NSA was, for example, surveilling or listening to Russians overseas, and the overseas targets were the target of the surveillance, and they happened to be talking to people in Trump's office in New York, that could have been swept up. The intelligence community calls it inadvertent collection. When that happens, what happens, Willie, is that Americans' privacy is protected. When those reports are disseminated, basically the Americans' names are blacked out. But that's different than what the president suggested here. He suggested that actually his office was the target of the surveillance. And again, in that case, you would need a federal judge to approve that.
And then the last option is that President Trump made the whole thing up. Jeremy Bash, thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.